Hello guys. In one of my videos I show you how to use Affinity Designer to design the curves for Vellum. But here I'm doing everything inside Houdini. I am testing now with using the Bezier curves, and it works in a similar way, so we can do everything inside Houdini, designing the curves in a similar way that I did in Designer. The way it works is that we have the curves, but then we split them. We break the points here in a way that we can have this result here. See, you can have the same result. I just noticed that there are some advantages of this method, because in relationship to using the Affinity Designer workflow, because what I noticed is that usually when I add curves there, I have to redo the seams here. But if I'm doing, it seems that if I'm doing everything inside Houdini, you can see, for example, let's add some kind of belt here. Let me select the Bezier, let me draw, and here you can see how it looks. We can select the points, we can move the points here, everything works fine. We can change the mode here. If we type F or G in the keyboard, we can draw with the G, we can edit with the F. So I'm typing G to draw, and I will draw something here, for example this kind of line. Now I can type F and I come here to edit and I can change, and so. But here is the line, and now I click escape, and if I go here to the Vellum Drape, you can see everything still the same. So I have all the weld, the stitches, the seams, the directions, and I did not have to change anything. I just have to add the new. That's something really good. So if I want, so we can add, for example, let's add these points here. I'm selecting by the group, so I'm using the group selection with points. Okay, so I can come here, shift click, and all good. And now I can do the middle part. For example, let me zoom in, this one here, shift click here. Now I click here, shift click here. Okay, see, that's good. I can change, for example, we need more fabric here. I can see here. Let me click here. I need more fabric here for something like this. Okay, then I come here and it updates. Okay, I need something more here. Let's change again. Can change it here. Okay. Maybe too much, but that's the way it works. Okay. And now I will show you how to do it from scratch. So we have here these lines. This is just the Bezier curves, where let me reset the operations. We can use the front view, so I click here, I click enter in the viewport, G to draw, so I click here, and here, for example. Let me see here. Yes. Now I change with F to edit. I can make some changes here, and something like this. Let me see here. Let's say we have this kind of design. Escape in the keyboard. Then you have all the workflow. You can move and rotate and everything. Here I have to mention that I'm breaking the point, so I'm using a carve node with breakpoints cut all internal. So you set the first U to 0, second U to 1, and breakpoints cut all breakpoints. Because if we do this, you remember that Vellum requires that we use separate strokes for the planar patch, because if we use, for example, let me add the planar patch from curves. When we use this node here, we can see here that it is doing the cloth part, is converting, and if we check the scene group, we have groups. This is what we need in order to select. So if I come here to the viewport and type S to select, I can use groups by points. You can see here that I now have one group for each sim, because each stroke that I did now has become a group, a separate group that I can use later in the Vellum Drape. But let me add another one. So I can click here to add. I can select. It doesn't matter. I can select in the viewport 3D or the UV layout. It doesn't matter. I like to usually I select here in the UV because it is easier to select. Okay, and let me see if I click here. I'm using Shift to add to the selection, and I find out that using the 2D view is faster, so I prefer selecting here. I usually do like this. I select all the front. When we select the points, it gets a mistake here, but I can redo. Let me see. I can zoom in, then we click Shift. Pay attention to select the groups. Now click Enter. Now we do the same thing for the targets. The targets will be the other side. I will select all the border groups that I want to use, and good to go. We can have some adjustments. For example, if we need let me select these points and I can move. So you see here I'm using a similar workflow from the one I did in the Affinity Designer. Okay, it works the same way. We have the handles here, so we can change the orientation of the lines according to the tangent. And if we change it, let me click Escape here. I'm using the same viewport, but you can alternate and use the other workspaces if you want. But the good thing is, see, I have the same setup. I didn't have to add anything. Now if I change, let me see, this is a good one. Let's go to edit again, and let's add something here. For example, let's move this one here. Let me add, how I add a point here, I can type G to draw, to alternate the modes. Now let me type something here, escape. Now I go to Vellum Drape, and you see everything works as expected. I just have to add the seams, weld the seams here. Let me select these ones, group. Let's select group. Let's select the outside first. So I click here, I click shift, hold shift, click here, go to the target. The target is this one here. Click here, hold shift, click here. Now I do the internal parts, so I select here, this one, hold shift, click here. Now the target, this one here, hold shift, this one here. And that's it. Now we can change the shape, of course. Let's say we need, let's say we want more volume. Let's click here, F to edit, then we can change here. So this is just really a preference you are doing here or using Affinity. It's very similar. It's a very similar workflow, but it seems to me, I still have to do some testings, but it seems to me that there are some advantages of doing everything inside here, because you see when I add the new lines, the previous setup stays.